Hello, Donna here. Welcome to my channel, Transcending Trauma. I wanted to share a study I heard about and add my own little hypothesis that was not added to the end of it, but it's about uncertainty. And ironically, I'm wearing a kitty cat jammy shirt, but going to talk about doggies. And it is hard. I really love animals, to hear about a study done on animals, but I didn't do the study. I just heard about it. I do not approve of causing harm to anyone. Even, human beings, like learning our life's lessons through suffering. It's, I'm choosing now to learn differently. I don't need to learn through hard lessons. That's conditioning, and it's conditioning I want to break free from. So anyways, this study was about these dogs, and and he said in the study they jolted them with some electricity, and he said it wasn't much. It was a little jolt of electricity, so not to get totally too upset about it. But so they had one group of dogs that was on, it was an electrified cage floor. So the one set of dogs, the electrified floor was just part of the cage, and the other part was not. And they quickly learned, to stay away from the electrified side, just like we learn, when we touch a hot stove to retrieve our hand back, and quickly not to touch that hot stove anymore, So the dogs learned to go to the side where safety was, where there was no electrifying happening. The other group of dogs, their cage was electrified everywhere. There was no safety. Some of us really know this, growing up and reliving our life's experience over and over, our conditioning. So the dogs tried every inch of that cage to find safety, and no matter where they went, they received a shock. So they said the really telling tale of the study was when they took the dogs that were in the cage that was electrified everywhere and moved them to the cage where it was just partially electrified. And it's so sad that those dogs just laid down on the electrified side and never moved to the other side. Now, their hypothesis was that, they were just conditioned, like, why bother? Why bother? There's no safety. Why bother? I don't totally agree with that, because I think that if they had access to the whole cage, they obviously found a side that was also not electrified. So why did they lay on the electrified side? Because it's like my video from yesterday, same. It's something they knew. Uncertainty, risk is scary, So they rather lay on the electrified cage and know that shock is coming. They know the shock is coming, then go to the safe side with no electricity and be uncertain, be uncertain on if it's coming or not. Wait a minute, it's not coming. When's it coming? That feeling of uncertainty. That's why narcissistic relationships are so traumatizing, because we get love bombed and devalued. That split, that feeling of uncertainty, like, which thing am I getting? It's so much easier to, of course, to be in a loving, safe relationship, but when someone is always cruel and abusive, we know what to expect. There's no uncertainty there. Uncertainty can create a lot of fear, So they didn't just lay down and succumb to the electricity. They laid there because it was safe, because they knew what to expect. That was safety for them. There was no uncertainty. They were going to get shocked. So the other side, they didn't know. They didn't know if it was ever going to come. And that waiting, that that waiting, that uncertainty, waiting for that shoe to drop is, anyone that's lived through those type of dynamics knows, it's that walking on eggshells. It's living on the edge, It's so much easier to just know, well, there they are being mean, constantly being mean. It's not so insidious. It's not so hidden. It's not so confusing. The brain just loves, same. The brain just loves patterns. It loves normal. It loves, I shouldn't say normal, it loves what's normal to it. It loves, that's abuse can be homeostasis, the shock, laying on the electrified floor is safety. It's known. It's, no fear. We know it's coming. I know I'm going to be hit. It's not scary. It's when someone promises to be different, promises not to hurt you, and gives you loving connection, and then hurts you again. That, like we're mammals, just like dogs. We rather just stay on the electrified floor, and just have that certainty, So, how to overcome, it's taking that risk. It's relearning, reconditioning, going to the unelectrified part of the cage, How about even just getting out of the damn cage altogether is probably the best idea. Set me free from the cage, just breaking free out of the cage and taking those risks. And, I see a lot on abuse recovery sites and, just people sharing, their fears. And I've heard so much lately, and people say, but how do I know? How do I guarantee I won't get hurt again? How do I know? How do I know? And it's like, you can take precautions, but you don't truly know. That's the thing. You can take risks on someone and they can still end up hurting you. You can look for all the traits of narcissism. You can look for all the traits of bad behavior, and you might miss something. Someone might be really skilled at bamboozling people, The thing is, once you do know, that is where your recovery comes. That's where your guarantee for safety is. You may get taken advantage of again. You may be, what was the word I used for someone? You may be, I forgot the word. Whatever, you get the point. But the thing is, it's not creating that uncertainty with self. Once you have a definitive behavior from someone that is abusive, it's hard because, people, especially narcissists, can, really lay on some thick charm and let you know they're not going to do it again. But you say, well, I'm not going to take that chance. You take the risk of getting into a relationship. You take the risk of connecting again. And you look for those traits and you be honest with yourself. When you see negative patterns, you disengage, You don't keep minimizing, Then you're creating that uncertainty for self. You're creating that environment of fear, not of uncertainty, So, if someone is really charming and you got bamboozled, I didn't use that word, I can't think of the word, but then they show their true colors. And generally, all masks slip between 3 and 6 months of knowing someone. That's when you can kind of start to really see their patterns. Even the most charming of charming, you'll notice enough leakage, by 3 to 6 months of what this person's really like. And then just being honest about it, it's the guarantee is the promise you make to yourself. When I see these patterns, I am not going to minimize them. I am going to disconnect from relationships like that. I am going to create safety by not pulling the wool over my own eyes, I'm going to create safety by choosing myself over hopes and what's the word? falling in love with possibilities, let people show you who they are and believe them. That's it. Peace out.